Hi, my name is John, and I want to welcome you to the introduction session of our 2019 small group semester. You know, I absolutely love this time of the year for so many different reasons. First of all, summer is over, the kids are back in school, but more importantly, football season has officially kicked off. In fact, all across the nation, from high schools to colleges, as well as NFL stadiums, people of all ages are getting ready to cheer on their favorite teams. Now, in just a moment, I want to talk about the importance of meeting together in a small group. However, before I do, I want to test your knowledge of our very own Houston Texans. So you ready for this? Here we go. Got several questions. The first would be this. The Houston Oilers left for Tennessee just before the 1997 season began. In what year did the NFL return to the great city of Houston? Was it A, the year 2000, B, the year 2002, or C, 2004? Well, if you chose letter B, then you would be correct, so give yourself 1 point for getting that right. Here's the second question. The second question is true or false. The first head coach of the Houston Texans was Dom Capers. Is that true or false? That would be true. So if you got that one right, give yourself a second point. Here's the third question that I want to ask you. The Texans charge onto the field using what song in the background? Is it letter A, Bulls on Parade, letter B, Bulls Are the Bomb, or letter C, Bulls in a China Shop? Well, if you choose letter A, then you would be correct on that one, so give yourself another point. All right, I want to give you one final question. Here it is. The Texans became only the second expansion team in NFL history to win their first ever game by beating which other team? Was it letter A, the Indianapolis Colts, letter B, the Buffalo Bills, or letter C, the Dallas Cowboys? Well, if you said letter C, you were correct, and if you got that one right and got all the rest of them wrong, it doesn't really matter because you know the most important answer, and that is the Texans beat the Cowboys. All right, that was just for fun. So you may be asking yourself right now, what in the world does football have to do with small groups? Well, I'll answer that question in just a moment, but first I want to share with you a powerful lesson that Jesus taught while he was on the earth called the parable of the sower. In Matthew chapter 13, Jesus actually tells this incredible story about a farmer who went out to sow seeds in a field. The seeds actually fell on 4 different types of soil, and the soils actually, we find out in the parable, represent different people's response to the gospel, but it can also represent the best environments where I believe growth actually takes place. Jesus said, as he was teaching about the first seeds, he said the first seeds actually fell on the soil that was hard packed. In other words, the ground was so hard that the seed couldn't even take root, and all the seeds eventually died. The second group of seeds fell on the shallow soil, and even though the seeds began to take root, the plant couldn't stand up to the heat of the sun, and soon it withered and died as well. There was a third group of seeds, though, and that fell among the soil that was covered with weeds. And even though the seeds began to grow, and even though they began to have roots, unfortunately, the plants were actually choked out by the weeds or the worries of this world, and so they died too. It was only the fourth soil that Jesus called the good soil, in which the farmer actually saw a harvest. Now, the point of the parable is very, very simple. The point is this. A seed can't grow if the soil isn't good. No matter how good your seeds are, no matter how much water they get or fertilizer they get, it's impossible for them to grow if the environment is not right. But if the soil is good, then watch out for the growth. And I truly believe that a small group is the perfect environment for people to begin to grow in faith. You see, it's in a small group that the soil of our lives can be tilled and watered and fertilized as we connect with others. It actually helps us to grow. In fact, there are 3 key elements that ensure that you're creating the right environment for your group, and so I want to talk about those for just a moment. The first element would be this. It would be fellowship. Now, fellowship is really about building relationships, and hopefully you understand that connecting is about more than just getting together and hanging out and drinking some coffee, although that may be a big part of it. Instead, fellowship is really about coming together in order to be available for each other. It's about accepting one another and being authentic with those in the group. The truth is, as we share our lives with others and as we speak honestly and openly with one another, that's when we have the opportunity to encourage one another and build one another up. So the first element is fellowship. The second element that's really critical would be Bible study. Of course, as you gather together, one of the central elements of your group meeting should be Bible study. The best part you should know, though, is that we are learning together. None of us has the Bible all figured out, but as a group, we can focus on God's Word and we can look for ways to practice God's Word in our everyday life, and that's when we really start to grow into the kind of people that God wants us to be. And so we got to make sure that Bible study is a big part of our group meetings. There's a final element, though, and that would be this. That would be the element of prayer. We really do want your group to spend time praying with and for one another. Now, the Bible promises that wherever two or more are gathered, God is in their midst. That doesn't mean that God isn't with us when we're alone, but I believe it means that something supernatural happens when we gather together as a group to pray. But by the way, just in case you're worried, you don't have to pray out loud if you don't want to, okay? Now, I'm going to encourage you to pray out loud. I think that's how we grow. We need to pray with and for one another, but you don't have to if you don't want to. However, I am going to encourage everybody in the group to go ahead and share whatever's on their heart, whether that's good or whether that's bad. That way, the others in the group can praise God with you or simply lift you up and pray for you. Now, in the beginning, I started talking about the fact that football season has kicked off, and so just let me return to that analogy for a moment. For a football season to be successful, a lot of hard work and preparation takes place that can't be seen necessarily on the scoreboard. And in a similar way, if you want to have a successful group experience, it's going to take being intentional with your time. So I want to give you some helpful tips that I think will ensure that your group gets off to a great success this year and has a great season over the next 3 or 4 months. First and foremost, if you want to have a successful small group season, you must make the commitment. This is a big one. Every single person in the group has to make the commitment. Why do I say that? Well, think about football. Every football team is made up of players, and those players have all kinds of potential. However, every team is only as strong as the weakest link. If players don't work out or if they skip practice, the team is not going to be as good as it could be. Well, the same is true for your small group. Your group has incredible potential to be a place where encouraging relationships are built and spiritual growth takes place. However, you're only going to get out of your group what you're willing to put into your group, which is why I want to encourage you to make attending your group a high priority. Now, to help with this step, each one of you should have a booklet right now, but inside that booklet is something called the Small Group Agreement. And each one of the members of your group are going to take time to look at the small group agreement when we're done with this video, and I want everybody to go ahead and sign it. But that small group agreement is going to outline the values, the logistics, and the purpose of a group. And again, once you get to the end, I want everybody to sign your name at the bottom. And this will be an indication to everybody else in the group that you're making a commitment to meet together over this semester. All right, the second step I want to encourage you to take would be this. I want you to read your playbook. Read your playbook, okay? Every single football team has a playbook which tells players where they're supposed to line up and what they're supposed to do on each play. In fact, the playbook just helps to get everyone on the same page and keeps everybody headed in the same direction. Well, for small groups, we have a playbook as well. It's called the Bible. Our playbook is God's Word, and we believe that this book actually provides guidance and instruction for our lives. That said, this year we're going to do a study together called Breakthrough Prayer. We're actually going to take a look at 5 famous prayers from the Bible. Some will be familiar to you, some may not be familiar to you, but my hope is that as we look at each one of these prayers, it's going to encourage you to pray in ways that you've never thought of before. All right, the next step to be successful this season would be this. We want you to plan your schedule. I want you to plan your schedule. Now, every football team has a calendar that they follow throughout the year, and that schedule includes more than just games. It also includes practices and travel information and days off. I mean, it includes everything. Of course, without a schedule, teams would be far less efficient, and players might end up missing a game or two, which would be really, really bad. Well, guess what? Your small group needs a calendar too. You need a schedule as well. That's why we created the small group planner. And this is in your notes as well, but this will actually help your group members stay on the same page. It'll ensure that everybody knows when you're meeting, when you're not meeting, as well as it's going to help everybody to find their role in the group. Which leads me to say this. This is really, really important. We really don't want your group leader doing everything, okay? Yes, they are the leader of the group. We really don't want them doing everything. Instead, we want everybody to pitch in and help with the group. I like to remind the members of my group, this is not my group. Instead, this is our group. So everybody needs to pitch in and everybody needs to help. The cool thing is if everybody takes a turn to host or if everybody takes a turn facilitating, I can promise you your group experience is going to be far better than if we just let one person do everything. So at the end of this meeting, you're going to take a couple of minutes to at least plan out the next 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks of your small group calendar so that everybody gets on the same page. All right, there's one final step that I think that you need to take to have a successful season. Here it is. You might not even think about this one, but I would encourage you to invite someone to join your team. Invite somebody to group. I mean, think about this. Imagine going to a football game and seeing an empty stadium. That would be totally depressing, wouldn't it? not only for the home team, but for the fans as well. That's because there's nothing like a football stadium that's filled to capacity with crazy fans screaming for their favorite team. I mean, there's nothing like seeing a great play on the field and then turning to your neighbor and giving them a high five, right? I mean, it just makes the experience so much better. Well, we don't want anyone to miss out on the benefits that come from meeting together with others in a small group. And I guarantee there are people out there who would love an invitation to join your group, but nobody's asked them yet. And so I'm going to encourage you after this meeting, I want you to pray about somebody that you could invite to join your group at your next gathering. It could be a friend, could be a neighbor. They don't even have to be a part of the church. It could be a family member, a coworker. It could be somebody from the church or somebody from work. Doesn't really matter. Just pray about it and invite someone to join your group. All right, I've given you a lot to think about. Hopefully you're all fired up for the season right now, for the new small group season. But before I go, I want to encourage you to encourage your small group leader, okay? They really stepped out in faith by committing to facilitate your group. And so I want you to show them how much you appreciate them by giving them a big round of applause. And so on the count of 3, I just want everybody to cheer really loud for their group leader. You ready to do this? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Cheer! Hopefully your group was cheering while I was doing that. Otherwise, that would be really, really awkward. Well, I'll tell you what, at this time, your group leader will guide you through a couple of short discussion questions, and then you're going to have a chance to get organized today. But I really want you to take advantage of this opportunity today to get organized as a group. And I want to thank you again for choosing to participate in a Providence small group. I know you're going to be blessed, and I can't wait to hear what God does in your group as we experience breakthrough prayer together.